Large institutional investors are slowing down their home buying, but small mom and pop landlords are filling the gap. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's going over the whole issue with how more investors are buying properties right now than regular, owner occupants, regular home buyers. Now, this has been an issue for a while, and for a while they were blaming the big players, the institutional investors, the corporate landlords, the e-buyers. They were like, oh man, they're buying up all the houses, and this is just really, really bad for the individual people who want to buy a house and have somewhere to live, right? But the truth of the matter was that these big players, they really weren't doing that much at all. And really, the fact that the housing is a bargain right now, that's the reason why a lot of landlords, small and large, are going out and buying those houses. So when the institutional investors, they slowed down their purchasing, guess who stepped in? The people with just 1 to 10 properties, small landlords such as myself. Now, I'm not surprised, and it shouldn't surprise anybody that if people aren't buying houses right now, well, you know what? Who is going to be buying these homes? Who is still looking for deals? Who is still investing in real estate? And that is landlords. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Did you think that it was just the institutional investors out there looking for properties to buy? And, honestly, I don't have any problems with it because the way I see it is that when they talk about landlords purchasing properties or talking about corporations or whatever buying properties, right? Sometimes they're talking about just small mom and pop landlords who have grown up to the point where they are much, much larger now. And they're still providing good quality housing. They're following all the laws, rules, and regulations, and they're treating their tenants with respect. So there should be no issue with it. And in terms of these really big players, they're using local property management companies, local maintenance, local, everything for their properties. The only thing is the person who owns it or the group who owns it isn't local. So that should be no issue. But anyway, I'm going to get into this article because it's quite interesting what it says. So this article is coming from housingwire.com, and it says mom and pop landlords stepping in as mega investors retreat from the single family market. While iBuyer purchases and investor activity dipped, investor driven single family home purchases were steady in quarter four. Yeah, so investor purchases have not slowed down. It's just no longer the super big buyers buying the homes, it's the smaller ones. So let's get into the article and see what it says. Single family home purchase demand by investors remained steady in the fourth quarter of 2022, despite a dip in iBuying and larger investor demand, according to a report released this month by CoreLogic. The share of investor purchases of single family homes fell to 21% in June of 2022, but rebounded to 26% in September and has remained stable since that point, according to CoreLogic economist Thomas Malone. The investor share plateaued in the fourth quarter of last year at around 2 percentage points lower than its high of 28% in February of 2022. However, this is still much higher than at any time pre-pandemic, he said in the report. And I'm not surprised. Yeah, the e-buyers, yeah, their program kind of went belly up, but that doesn't mean that there aren't still a lot of small mom and pop investors out there who are able to find great deals and are still buying properties. So that is why demand didn't decrease by investors, and it's remained stable since it looks like September of 2022. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm still looking for properties out there right now, and so are a lot of the landlords that I know. Broadly speaking, the market cooled for both investment buyers and owner occupied buyers. Investment buyers purchased an average of 81,000 homes, a 25% decline in activity when compared with the purchase activity observed in quarter four of 2021. However, this is in general alignment with investor purchase activity during quarter four of both 2019 and 2020, respectively. So, yeah, as everyone who buys real estate knows, the market slows down a lot in the fourth quarter due to the holiday season. But not only that, man, they're just aren't a lot of properties that are available, at least not to the numbers that there used to be. So no, the number of properties available has declined, and interest rates have gone up. So people are buying a lot less properties than they were in the past. So that could be the reason why you're seeing declining numbers for the fourth quarter of 2022. Owner occupied purchases, on the other hand, are well below the level seen during those years, Malone said. Overall, it appears that housing demand declined for both investors and owner occupied buyers fairly evenly, with both likely deterred by high prices and elevated interest rates. So called mega investors appear to be retreating from the market quickly, but smaller players in the investment space, defined as those who own fewer than 10 properties, are making up an increasingly large share of the investment activity in the home buying space. And a lot of people are looking for places to invest outside of the stock market right now because the stock market has been extremely volatile and not giving us the rate of returns that we want. Now, obviously, I invest in both the stock market and in real estate, but my primary focus has always been on real estate. So there's more people now who are trying to get into the real estate game so they can get that rate of return that they're not getting with the stock market. Not only that, but real estate is seen as a hedge against inflation. And obviously, we're experiencing a lot of inflation right now. So people want to put their money into a piece of physical property so that they can balance out all of the rising costs of everything. Now, I thought of all this stuff years ago. This was part of the reason why I invested in real estate from the very beginning. When things were going great for everyone else on the stock market and people were talking about how they were making so much money and how I was wasting my time with real estate, I was like, no, I can see in the long run, this is going to work out a lot better. And it does for me. Okay. It doesn't work like this for everybody. But for me, I am doing great with real estate. And that is why I believe that a lot of smaller investors are still buying right now. They're looking at all of this and they're like, man, if we can get out of this, not invest, maybe not get out of the stock market, but invest over here as well. That would give us a slight hedge against all this inflation. Mega players in the investment space are remaining active in the Atlanta metropolitan statistical area. However, where it remained the only MSA with more than 10% of home purchases in quarter four 2022. Aside from Memphis, no other MSA in the top 10 investment markets has a corresponding number of more than 5%, which makes Atlanta a major outlier, Malone explained. iBuying activity sharply dropped beginning in the summer of 2022 and remained depressed through the end of the year. Yeah, I think that the whole iBuying trend is dead for now. We'll see if they ever decide to take it back up. But right now, with the rising interest rates and everything, I just don't see a whole bunch of major home purchases by these large players. And they lost a lot of money. Okay, they lost a ton of money trying to do it. It was a complete failure. I could have told them it was going to be a failure because they cannot compete against local players who understand the markets better, are able to find deals better, and they just got their butts handed to them. So yeah, it looks like mom and pop landlords are filling in the gap for these big players who are stepping aside, and they don't understand the markets as well. They aren't able to make a profit as well with rising interest rates, and they are stepping back until there's a better maybe better options available for them.